Hello my people, welcome to another tutorial. My name is Agnes. In today's tutorial I will show you how I made this granny square skirt. It's a fun project to do. It's quite colorful and I can see myself rocking this in the summer. So it's basically granny squares, and then we have this ruffle looking like at the bottom, and yeah, and a little bit of extras. I put flowers, I put an emoji, and yeah. So we are going to go straight into the tutorial, and this is what you will need. So you'll need a tape measure. You need to take your hips measurements, and then you need scissors, hook. For the hook size I used a 3.0 millimeter hook, but at the bottom I used a 3.5 millimeter hook. For the yarn it is size 3, and I got this in my mail. I don't know who sent it to me, so I thought the colors were fun to work with, and yeah, so you can use any other yarn that you have. And this is how we'll work it. We'll work the granny squares first, and then once I was done that, I joined them, then I did the bottom, and then I did the top. The bottom is just made of the shell stitch, or you can do the granny squares, then do the top and then the bottom. Depends on what you prefer. So I did this with single crochets for the waist, so that it is more, secure. And yeah, so we have our skirt. Let's begin. So to begin, we are going to start with a granny square. So you are going to make chain 3. So that's 1, make a slip knot and then chain 3. So 1, 2 and 3 chains. And then you're going to go into that very first chain like this and make a slip stitch. So we will be working in the center of this very tiny circle. So you're going to chain 5. Our chain 5 counts as a stitch. That's chain 3, and then you're going to chain 5. You're going to yarn over, go into that middle, and you are going to make a double crochet. All right, so double crochet, that's our 1, and then into the very same center you'll make your second double crochet, and then you go in and make your third double crochet, and then you're going to chain 2 to make our second corner. That other first chain was our first corner. This is our second corner, 2 chains. And then you're going to go into the center and make 3 double crochets. And 3. And then you're going to chain 2 chains. And into that same space, you're going to make 3 double crochets. So that is our corner number 3. All right, then make 3 double crochets. Then you are going to make 2 chains for our fourth corner, 2 chains, and then you're going to make, since we already have this as a double crochet, you will only make 2 double crochets, right? So that will be 1, 2, and we already have our third one there at the end. And then you're just going to go into the space, this space here, and slip stitch. Do not go into the stitch, but just in the space and slip stitch like that. So we have our 4 corners like this, and 3 double crochets all around. So that's a total of 12 double crochets, right? So for our second row, you are going to chain 5. We are always going to begin with 5 chains, okay? Then you are going to go into this space here and make 2 double crochets. Go into that same space, make your second double crochet, and now you're going to make a double crochet on top of every stitch. So you have 3 double crochets, so you make 3 double crochets on top. Okay, so right here on top of this first one, I'll make my 3rd double crochet, then 4th double crochet, 5th double crochet, and then into the space I'll make 2 more chains, double crochets. So that's 6th and 7th. So that's one side, right? It's 7 stitches. So here we had 3 and now we have 7, which means on every row it's increasing by 4 stitches on each side. So then I chain 2 to make the corner, and in that very same space I am making 2 double crochets like this. And then I'll make a double crochet on top of each stitch. So that's 2. So this is the third one. 4, 5. In this space I make my 6th and 7th, and then I'm going to chain 2. So you see the pattern, right? Chain 2, and at the beginning you're making 2 double crochets in the space, then you work a double crochet in each stitch, and then you work 2 double crochets at the end in that space. So you see the pattern, right? So chain 2 and then start again. So 2 in the space, so that's 2, and then we are going to work 3, 4 and 5. So this is 2, then work 3, 4, 5 is right here at that bottom of that chain, and 6 we are going to work it in the space below. So this space here below, that's why we work our 6th. Okay, like that. And then for the 7th, which is already the chain 3, there, so you are going to go into that space here and close it off. So that is our 7th when we close it off like that. All right, so we increased in total 16 stitches. So you're going to chain 5 and start all over again. All right, so that's 2. So basically we repeat the same pattern all around, and this is called the solid granny square. I chose the solid granny square because it has good coverage, and I think we won't need to sew in any lining or sew. It's good to go. So talk of sewing, I was gifted a sewing machine 2 years ago and I've always been afraid to use it, but don't anymore. I recently found a very nice class, beginner's class by Jo Simpson on Skillshare, and I'm so excited to learn everything about sewing. So Skillshare is like the go-to platform for creatives to learn new skills or even better their old skills. And this includes skills like creative writing, illustration, music, or even crochet. Yes, you can learn to crochet from the pros and some of your industry favorites like Tony. Everybody knows Tony. If you crochet, you know Tony. So you've always asked me for beginner classes. If you're not sure where to start, Skillshare has designed learning paths. Learning paths are hand-picked classes that are meant to be taken in order. This will help you to get from beginner to advanced like in no time. They are designed specifically for you as a beginner. So I'll be taking some classes like photography. I want to up my photography game, my filming game, especially for YouTube. This is where I really want to up my game in YouTube. And if you're someone who really wants to take a class, then join me on this learning journey. And the first 500 people that will use my link in the description box will receive a 1-month free trial of Skillshare. Let's get started today. So thank you, Skillshare, for sponsoring this video. So to complete the last side on this row, you're going to chain 2 and then you make 2 double crochets in that chain space, and then you're going to work 1 double crochet in every stitch. So that's 2, that's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then 9th will be right under this chain, let's just make sure we have the right number. So I'll put 9 here, and then 10 is going to be in the chain space below, and the 11th you just close it off in that chain space. You slip stitched right there, so that's your last one. Okay, and then you're going to chain 5 and start all over again. So you're going to repeat the same pattern. Like I said, each side increases by 4 and the whole row increases by 16 in total. So this is my complete one, and I did 6 rows. So let's measure this. This is 5 inches wide, right? And I made 6 of these squares because I needed one to wrap around my hips. So my hips measurements is 33. So 6 of these make about 30, but there's that to give it that stretch. So you can take away 3 inches if you like. I added these smileys and flower and this eye on the 3 of them, but this is optional really. I just wanted to put something extra. So yeah, you can add anything that you like if you want to. So I am going to leave the tutorials for this that I used in the description box too. So we are going to join these squares, right? So I want to join using a different color for some contrast. So we will go right into this second chain and only in the back loop, and then also on this side we are going into this second chain right here and only in the back loop, and then you are going to just make a knot, a slip knot, and then pull your yarn through like this to join the 2 squares, and we are only going to be working in the back loops. So I'll go in the back loop from upwards, then I go to this side, join in the back loop from upwards like this, and then yarn over and pull through all like that. So once again, I start my hook from right up there in the back loop and also on this side in the back loop, and then slip stitch through like this. So you're just going to repeat this. It takes a little bit of time, but if you have any other method that you like to join with, please do. This is just what was my preference, but there are so many ways you can join granny squares. So you can use whatever is comfortable for you, and yeah, just join. Okay, so I will keep joining like this, and once I'm done with one, then I join the next one, and then the next one, and then the next one, until I have joined all the 6 together and made it round. I don't know, do I call it a circle? I don't know, whatever. So yeah, so this is what I have once I joined everything. It looks like this. I was joining one to the other, and then to the next, and then to the next, and I have all this way around. This should fit around my hips, because this part is like the middle part, the one that is fitting around your bum. Okay, so now I want to do the part below. That is like the ruffle part, which we are using the shell stitch. I'll call it the shell stitch. Okay, so just get somewhere where you want to start. I'll start here, and I'm going to reattach my yarn, and then we'll make double crochets first. So you'll make 2 chains, and then you're going to work double crochet. So I'll go into this space here and make a double crochet, and I'm going to work my double crochets in between the stitches. That's very optional. You can work in the 2 loops. Okay, so but I'm working in between the stitches. I just don't know why. It's something I wanted to try out, so let's do that. So I will work double crochets in every space between the double crochets, I think. Okay, like that, and I will go all around. Okay, so I went all around and I'm coming to the end. So I will work my last double crochets, and then I'm going to close this row or round off with a slip stitch on top of that chain 2 that I made. All right, so now that this is done, then we are going to work to start our shell stitch. Okay, so I want to change my hook size to a 3.5. So from a 3 to a 3.5, because it's a shell stitch, I don't need the stitches to be tight. So I'll chain 3, and this 3 will count as a stitch. So I'm going to go into that very first stitch and make my second double crochet, including the chain. It's a 2 double crochets. So then chain 1, and in that same stitch I'm going to make another 2 double crochets like this. Then I will skip 1 stitch, and then into the second stitch I'm going to make 2 double crochets, and then chain 1, and in that very same stitch make other 2 double crochets. Then skip 1 stitch, and then the next make 2 double crochets, and then chain 1, and then in that very same stitch make 2 double crochets. So this is basically what's going to be our pattern for this round. Okay, so do the same all around. So skip 1, 2 double crochets, and then chain 1, and then 2 double crochets in that same stitch. All right, so work this until you get to the end of the round, and I will meet you at the end of the round. All right, right here. So I did my round and I'm coming to the end. As you can see, I have like 2 stitches left. It doesn't matter if you have 1 or 2, so I'll just close it off with a slip stitch on top of that chain 3 like this. Okay, so we need to start all over again, and by chaining 3, but I need to move to the middle here, so I will undo this and instead slip stitch in my next stitch so that I get to the middle. So I slip stitch there, and then I chain 3, because this chain 3 counts as a stitch, and in that space, chain 1 space, I'm going to make my second double crochet, and then chain 1, insert 2 double crochets in that very same chain 1 space like that. So then I'm going to skip all the other stitches and go straight to this chain 1 space right here, and then I'll make 2 double crochets, and then chain 1, and in that very same space I will make 2 more double crochets. So I think you already see the pattern, right? So once I'm done with that, then I'll skip over to the next chain space, which is this one here, and then I'll do the same. So 2 double crochets, and then chain 1, then 2 double crochets. So you get the point, right? So you are going to do this all around, and it will basically be a repeat for every row. So I don't need to show you this one more time because it's quite easy. So you're going to do this until you have, you're measuring from right, like in the middle of your hip, all the way down, okay, to where you want your skirt to reach. All right, so once you get to the end, you just slip stitch twice and then you start all over again. It's quite easy. So I will see you once I have my length, then we will work the top part. So I'm done, and this is what I have. I did a couple of rows, and now I want to work the top part. You can also do the top part first before you do the bottom, but I did the other way around. So yeah, so I'm going to change back to my smaller hook size. This is a 3.0 millimeter hook, and we are going to make some reductions because this is wrapping around our butt, and that's big, so we need to make room for the waist. So I'm going to reattach my yarn, and for this part we are going to make double crochets. So you're going to chain 3, and we'll make deduction. So I'll go into this very first stitch here. So that looks like a lot of space, so I will go right next here. Okay, so I'm going to go into, this is 1 2 3 4 5, so 5 stitches, and then make a reduction. So I'm making a reduction in every 6th stitch, for every 6th stitch. So here, this is how we'll make the reduction. I go in, pull through the 2 loops, and then yarn over, go into the next stitch, pull through 2 loops, and then pull through 3. So then make 5 double crochets, and once I get to the 6th one, then make a reduction. So I go in this first one, I don't complete it, go into the next, I join them together like that. So it's 5 double crochets, then reduction, 5 double crochets, then reduction for this row. Okay, so I will see you at the end of the round. So if you want it a bit smaller, a bit tighter, you can also do like 3 double crochets, then a reduction instead of 5, and then it gets smaller faster. Okay, so just gauge on, because my hips are not really big, so if you had big hips, then you can make after every 3 instead of after every 5. So I'm coming to the end. And once you get to the end, you'll join on top of that chain 3 like this. And I want to change color, so I will cut my yarn off. Like I said, if you have bigger hips, because my hips and my waist are almost same size, so if you have bigger hips, then you need to reduce like after every 3rd stitch, So I am going to introduce another color, so I will reattach it right here, and then once it is attached, then I will chain 3 to start this 2nd row. So for this row, we will not make any reduction, so I'll go into every stitch with a double crochet, no reductions at all. So 1st row we make a reduction, 2nd row no reduction. Okay, so I will just continue to make 1 double crochet in every stitch until I get to the end of this round, and then I'll meet you so that we can start on round 3. All right. So I'm coming to the end of round 2, and basically I'll just finish this off and then slip stitch on top of the chain 3. And then for round 3, we are going back to reductions, and instead of reducing after every 5, I'll reduce after every 7th stitch. So if you're reducing before, you were reducing after every 3rd, now you can reduce after every 5th stitch. Okay, so I will reattach another color. You can do with 1 color, so you don't have to cut off the yarn once you get to that end. Just chain 3 and start a new row. But since I'm changing color, then I need to change, and then chain 3, and then I'm going to do 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 stitches, and then in the 8th one I make a reduction. Yeah, I'm out of frame, but it's the same thing that we did before. So yeah, so this is my first reduction. All right, so now another 7 double crochets. That's 1 2 3 4 5 6, 7, and then reduction in the 8th one. So I'm combining the 8th and the 9th like that, and then we repeat again. So you're going to do this until you get to the end, and yeah, I'll see you once you get to the end of the round. So coming to the end, and these are going to be my last stitches. And once I'm done, then slip stitch on top of the chain 3, and I'm going to cut this off just to introduce another color. So for the next round, this was round 3. So for 4th round, we are making no reductions, okay? We are not making any reductions. So you are just going to go into every stitch with a double crochet, you know, no reductions for this row. So row 1 we made reductions, row 2 no reductions, row 3 reductions, and now row 4 no reductions. Okay, so you're just going to do this till the end. So I'm coming to the end of the round, and I'm going to slip stitch on top of this chain 3. So our next row is going to be a row of reductions, so which means we are going to be reducing in every 10th stitch. So I'll make 9 double crochets and then make a reduction. So I introduce my new color, and it's going to be, yeah, so chain 3, and then I'll make 9 double crochets. The chain counts as a stitch, so that's my second one, and I'm going to get to 9 double crochets. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, just to make sure I didn't miscount. 8, 9, and once I have 9, then I make a reduction. So this is me making a reduction, joining 2 stitches in 1, and then I'm going to repeat 9 double crochets and then a reduction. And basically this is going to be it. After this one, then I'll make no reduction, and then the next one that I make will be a repeat of the row 1 of reduction, so after every 5. But this you can gauge according to how now the small your skirt looks like. You know, if it's anything close to your waist measurements, then you don't need to make that many reductions. Okay, so like I said, I will repeat this row. I will repeat all these until I get just to the length that I want. Okay, and then I will do the smaller stitches, that is the single crochets. Okay, so this is what I had, and I just added 2-3 rows, and then I did the single crochets. The single crochet rows, there was no reduction, just single crochet rows, and makes the waist more firm. And I did about, I don't know, about 6 rows. Yeah, so I'll put this in, sew it in. So this is my skirt, and I like the skirt. I wish I made it shorter, because I like shorter things. I think it was longer for me. If you have like bigger hips, it will really look great, but my hips are so small, and I think it's like really fit for people who are more curvy, you know. I think it will look better on a curvy person. So thank you so much for watching anyway, and I hope to see your recreations. Please tag me on social media. It's AC Crochets. Please share this video and leave a like. So thank you for watching. Bye.